Hello, beautiful black people. I hope that all is well in your world and this day become a very, very successful day for you and all of your wonderful, wonderful black loved ones. Beautiful, intelligent black folks. I have said many times that racist white folks will reward insanity. Racist white folks will reward insanity. Racist white folks will legislate evil. Don't you know that the Republican Party legislates evil? Don't you know that Trump and his administration legislates evil? Taking children from their parents intentionally. Trump and his administration, the Republican Party, legislate evil. White folks will reward the insanity of other white folks. Look how white folks, this so-called Christian right, and these white evangelists, these white fake-ass Christians, they say they are pro-life. They consistently campaign, offer resistance against a woman having an abortion. They say they are pro-life. But when the lives of black folks are being taken by racist white cops every day, these white Christian, fake-ass Christian writers are silent. These white evangelists are silent. But they say they are pro-life. They say they are for right over wrong. But yet they are supporters of Trump. Insane white folks will reward the insanity of other insane white folks. This election that's before us and occurring on November the 3rd is indeed a confessional. It's a confessional election. Do you know that 2/3 of Hispanics will not vote Republican? 2/3 of Asians will not vote Republican. About 95% of black folks, people that look like me, will not vote Republican. There are about 1/3 of Hispanics that are Trump supporters and they call themselves Republicans. And I suspect that those are those Hispanics that are more European looking, and they are those wannabe white folks. They are those passing for white folks. They are passing for white folks. They have carved out a niche in that white racist power machine, and they want to sustain it. Therefore, they call themselves Republicans, and they vote Republicans. They are Trump supporters, etc., etc. This election will be a confessional election. There's about 1/3 of Asian folks that are Trump supporters that will call themselves Republicans. And they do that because they have been socially engineered to think that white is superior, that whiteness is dominant, and they are wannabe white folks. Those 1/3 of the Asian population that are Trump supporters, that are Republicans, are wannabe white folks. This will be a confessional election. And it will be the target, the bull's eye, will be on white folks to see what kind of country do the majority of white folks want. What kind of democracy do most of those white folks want? White folks are still the majority of the voting population. Therefore, this confessional election, the bull's eye will be on white folks. Watch how they vote. If they vote for Trump in the majority, then you know that they are racist to the core. You know that they are okay with authoritarianism, with fascism. If white folks vote for Trump in the majority, they will proclaim that racism is not an election issue. It always has been. It always will be. It always has been called the Southern strategy, which is a strategy that uses fear, racism, white supremacy to get what the Republican Party wants. This election will be a referendum on white folks. It will not be a referendum on black folks. It will not be a referendum on Hispanic folks, because 2/3 of the Hispanics will vote Democratic. It will not be a referendum on Asian folks, because 2/3 of Asian folks will vote Democratic. And definitely it will not be a referendum on black folks, because 95% of black folks will vote Democratic. This will be a referendum on white folks to determine, do they have a moral compass? Are they human, or are they thought process, an inhuman one. White folks will reward the insanity of other white folks. Insane white folks will reward the insanity of other white folks. Who will white folks vote for? That is the question. The question is, who will white folks vote for? They are the majority of the voting population. Will they vote for Trump or will they vote for Joe Biden? This will be a referendum on white folks. And the result of this election will tell the rest of us non-white folks who white folks really are. Know that, my beautiful, intelligent black brothers and sisters. Just as in the election of 2016, the election of Trump by racist white folks told us, gave us indicators regarding who white folks really are right here on this plantation called America. What kind of country do white folks want? Let's wait and see how they vote, and that will tell us non-white folks what kind of country white folks want. Many of those Hispanics that vote Republicans are passing for white. There are many ways, many tools that the Republican Party and Trump and his administration are using to fix this coming election or to corrupt the election results. They are blocking black registration. In other words, they are preventing black folks and brown folks from registering to vote. They are destroying the mail-in ballot method of voting. They are destroying that system. They are using COVID-19 to kill black and brown folks and to suppress the vote in November. Hence is why there's no strategy for COVID-19. It has been allowed to spread, to spread, to spread, to spread, to spread all across this plantation called America. The Republican Party, the Trump administration are using COVID-19 to suppress the vote. The Republican Party, the Trump administration are using Russian interference to suppress the vote. Just a few methods, a few tools that these white racist, delusionist Republicans, that these white racist, delusionist white folks, Trump and his administration are using in an effort to fix FIX, another election in their favor. Insane white folks will consistently reward the insanity of other white folks. Trump is a perfect example of that. Just remember how those white, insane Republican senators voted not to remove Trump from office after he had been impeached. Insane, racist white folks will reward the insanity and the racism of other white folks. Do you see how they have humanized Kyle Rittenhouse, the white racist son of a bitch that murdered two protesters in Kenosha, Wisconsin? Do you see how Trump and his administration, the Republican Party, are protecting, elevating this murderer like he is a hero, like he is to be honored? Did you remember how they treated Dylan Roof after he murdered 9 black folks inside of a black church? Do you see how they treated all of those armed, racist, insane white Trump supporters when they stormed the Michigan State House with guns, shouting obscenities, racial slurs, threatening politicians, spitting on law enforcement, and nothing was done about it? They are called heroes by Trump, his administration, and the Republican Party. Insane, racist white folks will always reward the insanity and the racism of other white folks. There's always a built-in path of innocence and opportunity for whiteness. Whiteness always carry with it a built-in path of innocence and opportunities. Do you see how Trump has elevated the gang of Trump supporters, white, racist, insane Trump supporters, driving through the streets of Portland, Oregon, heavily armed, shouting racial slurs, spitting on people, abusing people, assaulting people, killing people, shooting at people? Do you see how insane, racist white folks are still rewarding the insanity and the racism of other white folks? It is their whiteness that give them the opportunity, the freedom to behave any way they want without negative consequences. That's what those white folks do. That's what they do. White folks have always, is now, and will always reward the racism and the insanity of other white folks. White folks, insane, racist white folks, will always reward the insanity and the racism of other white folks. My beautiful, intelligent black brothers and sisters, stay safe, stay healthy. We will talk to you on another one real soon.